Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on Bangkok's ever-evolving property landscape.
Yeah, it's constantly changing.
Specifically, we're looking at the impact of the expanding BTS, the Bangkok Mass Transit System.
Right, the SkyTrain. Huge impact.
We've got insights from a recent blog post digging into this very topic. It's actually from Ocean Worldwide.
Ah, yes, Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury real estate agency based down in Phuket. Been around since, what, 2004?
That's them. And our goal here is really to cut through the noise, get you the crucial trends, the understandings you need.
Whether you're looking to buy or maybe invest.
Exactly. Think of this as your fast track to grasping how these big infrastructure projects are reshaping the city.
It's more than just train lines, isn't it?
Definitely. We'll explore what it means for property values, long-term growth potential, maybe some investment strategies.
And which areas to watch. Yeah, should be interesting.
So let's get started.
Okay. Well, what's fascinating right off the bat is just how tangible that connection is between the BTS expanding and the property market shifting.
You can really see it.
Oh, yeah. This blog post from Ocean Worldwide, it lays it out pretty clearly. Improved accessibility. That's the game changer.
Making places easier to get to.
Exactly. Areas that felt a bit, remote, suddenly they're on the map, much more desirable. And that appeal, that's what drives the demand.
Okay, so let's dig into some of the core insights from this Ocean Worldwide piece then. First big one seems to be just that accessibility boost.
Absolutely.
Making these locations maybe further out before much more attractive now. It's like the city's shrinking, isn't it?
That's a good way to put it. And it's not just theory. They give a solid example. The Purple Line extension.
Right, I saw that mentioned.
Think about it cutting commute times drastically. Maybe an hour trip becomes 20 minutes.
Wow, that's significant.
It fundamentally changes how people view living there, that save time, the convenience. It directly boosts the appeal of those areas.
And then following that, Ocean Worldwide points to growing demand for housing in these newly connected spots.
Well, yeah, stands to reason.
And more demand means, well, upward pressure on property values. Basic economics, right?
Pretty much. Make somewhere easier to live and get around, more people want to be there. But, and this is important, someone like Sandra O'Neill, the director at Ocean Worldwide, with all her experience, would stress.
Okay.
This growth isn't going to be like a flat line everywhere. It'll vary. Depends on the exact spot, the type of property.
Right. Nuance is key.
Yeah.
The post also highlights government investment in infrastructure as a major catalyst, especially for these suburban areas.
Definitely. It's not just about transport. It's a signal.
A signal of what?
Of long-term vision, commitment from the government. That builds confidence, for developers, for buyers thinking long-term.
So it encourages development beyond just the immediate station area.
Exactly. It suggests a strategy to sort of spread growth out, maybe create more balanced communities outside the supercentral core.
And investors seem to be picking up on this. Ocean Worldwide notes more focus on suburban living from investors.
Yeah, they're seeing the potential, better transport links, plus the amenities that tend to follow.
Like shops, restaurants.
Right. And it also taps into lifestyle shifts, maybe wanting a bit more space, less congestion, but still needing that easy city access the BTS provides.
Makes sense. People move in, businesses follow.
Precisely. It creates this positive cycle, enhancing the area's appeal even further.
Now, the Ocean Worldwide article does mention some potential, let's say, headwinds. Rising interest rates, high household debt. How do those fit in?
That's a really crucial point. Brings a dose of realism.
Right, because the infrastructure story sounds great, but
these wider economic factors matter a lot. Higher interest rates make mortgages more expensive, obviously.
that affects affordability.
And high household debt levels might make people, hesitate about taking on more borrowing. Could slow things down a bit.
So potential bumps in the road, even with the positive long-term trends.
Exactly. Factors to definitely keep an eye on.
Okay, so based on this Ocean Worldwide info, in your view, what are the market predictions looking like for property investment in Bangkok?
Well, the general consensus, and this lines up with research bodies like Krungsri Research too, is for steady, gradual growth in values.
Driven mainly by that BPS effect.
Primarily, yes. That improved accessibility is the main engine. But again, like the team at Ocean Worldwide in Phuket would know from their luxury market experience, it's not simple.
Needs that granular view again.
Absolutely. It won't be a uniform rise. Different property types, different specific locations will perform differently.
So no blanket guarantees.
Never in property. But the overall long-term outlook, still positive. You've got ongoing infrastructure work, tourism recovering, foreign investment coming in.
Krungsri projected, what, 2-3% annual home sales increase?
Yeah, for the Bangkok metropolitan region, 2024 to 2026, they link it to spending power and these government infrastructure projects.
And we're seeing more high-rises along the new lines.
Clear trend makes that suburb to city commute viable. Developers are also upping their game on amenities, even adding things like clean energy sources to attract buyers.
Interesting. Okay, so for listeners actually thinking about buying property in Bangkok, what strategies should be top of mind?
Location, location, location. The Ocean Worldwide piece really hammers this home. Proximity to BTS or MRT stations existing or planned is critical for value growth potential.
Makes sense. What else?
If renting it out is the plan, you absolutely need to research rental yields. What return can you realistically expect in different areas?
Due diligence on the income side.
Yep. And remember, property is usually a long game. Focus on places with good long-term growth prospects, not just a quick win.
And we need to factor in those cautionary notes again, rising rates, debt.
Definitely. They impact affordability, maybe make lenders a bit tighter. Plus, construction costs are up, materials, energy, labor. That pushes prices too.
The article also mentioned unsold housing stock in some areas.
Yeah, particularly in the higher price brackets. It's something to be aware of. Might give buyers some negotiation leverage in certain segments.
Okay, let's zoom in on the direct impact of the BTS expansions on values. How exactly does that mechanism work?
It really starts with that accessibility boost we talked about,
Yeah.
opening up areas that were just hard to get to before.
Like the Purple Line example again.
Exactly. Making suburban spots genuinely attractive options for more people. That improved access directly lifts property values because, simply put, more people want to live there now.
And that accessibility fuels demand around the stations. Classic supply and demand.
Precisely. Convenience is a huge draw. For residents, for businesses too.
Yeah.
And as Ocean Worldwide points out, it attracts investors local and international plus expats.
So multiple sources of demand pressure.
Right. Which builds that long-term investment potential. It's all underpinned by the government's infrastructure push and Bangkok's growing economy. The bigger goal is creating sustainable communities, and that naturally boosts property values over time.
So looking ahead slightly, what trends are emerging around the upcoming BTS expansions?
The Ocean Worldwide article highlights this noticeable shift towards suburban living, enabled by the BTS. People are more willing to live further out if they have that easy train connection.
Creates new opportunities then.
Absolutely. Investment potential in areas that maybe weren't considered prime before.
Any specific lines or areas mentioned as particularly promising in the near future?
Yeah, the upcoming Orange Line, especially the eastern section, that's expected to give a real boost to the Ramkhamhaeng area.
Okay, Ramkhamhaeng. Noted.
And foreign investment keeps playing a big role. Bangkok's a regional hub, right? Properties near the BTS are prime targets for rental income and capital growth for these investors.
And rental yields are already rising near existing stations.
Evidence suggests so, yes, driven by that demand for convenience and accessibility.
Let's talk specific areas then. Where are we seeing benefits now, or where are they expected?
Well, Western Bangkok is apparently seeing a bit of a boom. Improved MRT and BTS links making the commute easier, while it's maybe less congested than central areas.
So values are rising there.
Seems so. And opportunities for land investment, too. Then you have emerging suburban hotspots like Minbori.
Minbury. Why there?
It's set to benefit hugely from the Pink Line, especially where it interchanges with the Orange Line. Expect more residential projects, population growth, jobs.
And Ramkhamhaeng, we mentioned that with the Orange Line East.
Oh, definitely one to watch. Also, the area around Thomlor BTS could see benefits from the Gray Line development.
It's amazing how a train line creates this whole ecosystem, isn't it? More than just transport.
Totally. As Ocean Worldwide notes, new lines create demand for local amenities, shops, cafes, services. It can really revitalize a neighborhood, help small businesses.
Plus, maybe less traffic, cleaner air eventually.
That's the hope, improving the overall living environment.
Of course, the government's role is huge here. What are they doing specifically to support this?
They're investing significantly, billions, in expanding the BTS and MRT. And the Ocean Worldwide piece stresses this direct positive link to nearby property values.
That investment signals confidence, you mean?
Exactly. It shows a long-term commitment, boosts market confidence, plus they have these broader urban development plans.
Not just train lines, but communities.
Right. Creating sustainable, livable areas around the stations. Think green spaces, paths for walking and cycling, mixed-use developments. It all adds to the appeal and value.
Like the plans around Minbury and Rumpcomhang again.
Prime examples of that integrated approach.
The article also mentioned a government focus on sustainability.
Yes, alongside the transport. Encouraging green building, renewable energy, promoting public transport use. There are also schemes for affordable housing fee reductions, low-cost housing targets. It's quite comprehensive.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the upside, but let's revisit the challenges for balance. What are the main ones facing property investment?
The Ocean Worldwide Post flags a few key ones. Rising interest rates makes borrowing more expensive, impacts affordability.
We touched on that. And household debt.
Still high in Thailand. That can limit people's capacity to invest or get mortgages. Slows things down, potentially.
So realism is needed.
Absolutely. Remember the market cycles. Do your homework, think long-term, assess the risks. Plus, those rising construction costs are real, pushing up new build prices.
Despite that unsold stock in some segments.
Right, it's a complex picture.
And what about foreign investment? How significant is its role?
Very significant. Bangkok's a magnet, a regional hub, attracts expats, international workers, boosts demand, especially for residential property.
And government policies help.
Yeah, things like the 99-year leasehold options for foreigners make it more attractive. Plus, sometimes favorable exchange rates, the strong Thai economy overall, it all fuels appreciation.
And rental opportunities for foreign owners.
Huge, big tourism sector, large expat community, strong demand in central areas, but also growing in those suburban BTS spots, and always in the luxury condo market.
Finally, the Ocean Worldwide article mentioned sustainable development trends. Is this becoming a major factor?
It really seems to be gaining traction, yeah. Buyer awareness is up, developers are responding. It's becoming a real factor in property value.
So eco-friendly features are in demand.
Increasingly. Things like energy efficiency, water saving, sustainable materials, these properties can command a premium. There's a push for green building standards, too.
Good for the planet, good for operating costs, too.
Exactly. And also, community-focused design, walkable areas, green spaces, supporting local shops. It's about quality of life, which ties back to value.
Sustainable transport links fit in that, too, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. In congested cities, easy access to efficient, sustainable transport like the BTS. That's increasingly valuable. Demand for properties near it will likely keep growing.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, it seems crystal clear. The BTS expansion is reshaping Bangkok's property market profoundly. No doubt about it. Location near these lines is paramount for value growth. The long-term outlook looks promising, but investors need to be mindful of those economic factors.
That sums it up well. The Ocean Worldwide Post really illustrates that direct link between infrastructure and the market. Potential is there, but research and staying current are absolutely key.
Couldn't agree more.
It's about making informed choices.
And on that note, here's something to think about. How does this ongoing build-out of public transport, not just in Bangkok but globally, do more than just change commutes?
Interesting question.
How does it fundamentally reshape whole communities, the entire investment landscape? What other big infrastructure shifts might hold that kind of transformative potential, maybe in ways we don't fully appreciate yet?
Food for thought, definitely.
Thank you for joining us on The Deep Dive.